Coming up today on the show, we will talk about the latest Disney news. That's today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to Traveling with the Mouse. This is episode 426. I am your host this week. I am Jason, and I am joined, as always, by my esteemed colleagues and co-hosts. First, we have Adam.
Oh, what's up, everybody?
Have you missed me, Adam?
Always. Glad to have you back.
I've been off doing my own things. I'm very busy these days, very busy.
Yeah.
And we have John.
We'll just stow it.
The treasure?
No. Your rum.
It's the rum they want, don't you, boy?
It is. It is the rum they want.
I was like, oh, Mrs. Stowcroft, your humble servant.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, continue.
Who's excited about Jollywood Nights?
Me.
Jollywood.
Somebody's going to go to one soon. Well, when they start.
Yeah. Well, it's not that far away. I mean,
It's practically Christmas. Now that it's, Halloween.
Halloween's
week,
around the corner.
Or
There's like tomorrow, right?
as you're listening to this, depending on when you're listening to this, it's already Halloween or it's already Christmas time.
This episode will be released prior to Halloween.
Yes.
And prior to Christmas.
That's up to you.
As well.
That's true,
Well,
too.
I would hope so.
And Christmas starts at 12:01 a.m. on November 1st.
Is that the first party? Or is that when things start changing?
Well, that's when the first, the pumpkins come down and the garland and wreaths go up.
Everything overlaps. I don't know why I never came to this realization before. I guess because it just barely overlaps now. But October is really the only month in which what they call the big four in sports overlap one another. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You still have baseball with the playoffs. You have basketball is just beginning. Football's in full swing, and so is hockey.
I don't know.
It's it's like the only month in which you can see all of those at the same time.
Hockey's considered Big Four?
That's the original, yes.
Soccer's not.
Soccer just recently became more popular in the States. I don't think it's really caught on quite to the degree that they would put it up there with it, but it definitely gets more coverage.
Be the Fab Five.
Yeah, it could eventually, yeah. But that was the original, what they called the Big Four, because back in the day.
Right. I see.
I really only paid attention to 3 out of those 4 mostly. I didn't really pay attention to hockey, but
yeah, well, we don't live up north, so we don't watch it.
Right. Yeah. I knew the people I should know, like Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. People like that, but
Well, there's no golf right now.
there's not.
Well, not.
there is, but nothing.
I thought there was
major.
always golf.
But
thought
not
golf
like
was like year round.
The official season's over.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
Well,
The PGA.
Well,
Yes.
I don't know about live because I don't keep up with live. But live.
Okay.
But I was gonna say Ted Lasso. But anyway, I was gonna say it's also a season where you have Food and Wine, Christmas and Halloween that overlap.
There,
at Disney. So
when does Food and Wine end?
like the 15th of November or something like that.
So I guess on Halloween night, it's technically the nightmare before Christmas, right? Because Christmas
No
is
way.
about to be.
I'm sure it's a nightmare for the people who have to take all the decorations down and put all the Christmas stuff up because they probably don't get any sleep that night.
I think it's just wild that the Halloween party gets more dates than the Christmas party. I guess just because of the timing, more or less. But
Well,
yeah.
it's because
it starts in midsummer.
Yeah.
if Halloween didn't exist, the Christmas party would start in August.
You think that's it?
At this point, it would, yeah. It's Christmas season, but
Probably.
because Halloween's right there, they make Halloween start in August.
I reckon.
Right.
I
Yeah,
reckon.
but they do have a lot of Christmas parties. They're more dense, right? So the Christmas parties start
Just
on
jam
November
'em.
9th, right?
Yeah.
And they have 2 that week. Then the following week they have 4. The next week they have 3. So like the week of Thanksgiving, there's 3 Christmas parties. And then the week after
And-
Thanksgiving, there's 4. And then there's 4 every week until Christmas.
Right. Till the week of, which they don't go past, what, the 22nd, I think? Something
Right.
like that. But it's, I get it. Because by then the Christmas crowd shows up, the Christmas New Year's folks.
The
So they
earlier
don't-
you celebrate Christmas, the cheaper it is, though,
Right.
If you go early, it's only $159, but the same party on December the 22nd, it's $199.
Gosh. Remember not so long ago when it was like $79?
I was going to say, it was like $50 to go in.
Right. Well, even just a few years prior to COVID, it was like
Remember
79
when you used to be
or
able to go
99.
day of,
Yeah, that too.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing, yeah.
Didn't we do that Halloween party day of or something?
Yeah,
or
we
maybe
did.
the
We
day
decided
before?
while we were in Epcot, we're like, hey, why don't we go tonight to the party?
Was it the same night?
Or maybe it was the next day. Maybe it was the
Yeah.
next day.
I don't remember, but it was close. It was very close.
And back when you used to walk up to a restaurant. I mean, no, never mind. That's
The
beyond
olden
time ago.
days.
I'm excited though I've never done the Christmas party before. I'm going to get to try it, and I'm excited about Jollywood Nights as well. I booked it because of the Every Ride Challenge Day, and I was going to use it for the extra hours. But the more I think about it, the more I maybe just don't care if I complete the challenge, and I'll just stop and go to Jollywood Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I was excited about the jazz lounge that they're turning Brown Derby into.
Yeah.
That sounds cool to me.
I mean, if this was 2019 and I hadn't completed yet, I would be all about it. But see, the thing is every ride you can use the party ticket to complete, but you can't do that in Parkeology. So it doesn't even feel like a honest.
So you're saying you could
Parkeology
just
completion.
get Jollywood Nights and do
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios?
That's why I booked it originally, because it's the Every Ride
Yeah.
Challenge Day. But now I'm just
Right.
like, maybe I'll set like a miniature goal or something and stop by 7, because the party starts at 8:30, goes till 12:30. So if I stop by 7, I can go back to the room and get ready, go to the party.
So at Theater of the Stars, they have what they call Disney Holidays in Hollywood, a star-studded variety show in the grand tradition of Tinseltown holiday specials, all with a twist of today's Hollywood magic. And they have Muppets featured in that one. So it features Kermit, Miss Piggy, Tiana, Belle, Mickey and Minnie, plenty of other surprises in store, including a brand new original song by Tiana, live jazz musicians. So, that sounds neat.
You gotta join a walk-up list to go to the Brown Derby.
I know. That would be the things. That's going to be popular, I guarantee
There'll
you.
be a Nightmare Before Christmas sing-along,
Mm.
special outfits. I'm assuming there will be special characters.
Yeah. I do like the outfits that the Fab Five are going to be wearing.
It says that Rise will use a virtual queue during Jollywood
Yeah, I saw
Nights.
that. You have to join it at 8 p.m. I think that's because they want to control crowds. I don't know.
They want people buying drinks, not standing in line for Rise of the Resistance either. So,
Well, this would be the first time that Rise has had a virtual queue, right, since, October of 21?
yeah, I
I
think
think that's
so.
right.
Somewhere
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. Right before Ratatouille opened.
Yeah, they took it from it and gave it to Ratatouille, basically. That's
Yeah.
why the timing worked that way.
Well,
Yeah.
to be honest, like, let's say I was doing the challenge and say I was able to show up. I wouldn't be done with everything else before the party started. But if you showed up at 8:30, you have essentially 4 hours to do the party. It doesn't take that long to ride everything at Hollywood Studios.
No, I was going to say, if the crowds are as low as they talk, possibly,
Right.
you could probably do the actual rides in like an hour.
Yeah. You could even stop for drinks in the middle.
It would be a lot of fun. So right now, The Every Ride Week is December 5th through the 10th. For folks that are listening that haven't signed up, it's not too late to still join in the festivities. The challenge day is on the 6th, which is when I'm going to go to Jollywood Nights. There's a Skyliner scavenger hunt day on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Give Kids the World volunteer day on the 8th. However, I currently have the La Cava del Tequila experience booked for that day, so I may skip that. And then we also have a challenge, like the challenge fun run for a park day where you run around and do the stuff to raise money for Give Kids the World, and there will be a monorail bar crawl as well. So I'm hoping that Adam can be able to come too. I've been hounding him to see if he can get out there and come join.
Yeah,
John, maybe you can come that week.
Early in December?
Yeah, December 5th through the 10th.
Yeah, it's that first full week. Well, really, that weekend is all I could probably do. But what the challenge, like you said, was on the 6th?
It's on the 6th?
The actual run.
The actual, do the run day.
Yeah.
And I've booked the Christmas party for the 7th as well. So, going to try to sneak all of that in. Maybe I could go to Blizzard Beach while I'm there. You never know.
It'll be open. Of course, that means that Typhoon Lagoon will close. Yeah. They do that in the winter months. Like, one will be down, and then when it opens, the other one goes down until it's needed more. There was a really long one for Blizzard Beach there for a while. It was a wonder if it was ever going to be back during COVID.
Yeah.
What I can't tell here is they're going to have special PhotoPass stuff. Is PhotoPass included with the event ticket? I can't tell.
It should be. I sure hope it is. If you're paying that much, it better be included.
Captured during the event are included with the price of your ticket. Okay, so the PhotoPass is included.
I mean, good Lord. I would hope they could throw you that bone. I mean, come on.
Right.
Because they're going to have all sorts of magic shots and all sorts of crazy stuff you can do there, which I'll try out. I need to get an outfit for this thing. What would you dress as for Jollywood Nights?
I got some shoes you could borrow. Something festive. Get one of those, well, it's going to be too hot probably, but one of those Tipsy Elves sweaters.
Tipsy Elves?
No, I'm thinking you want to dress a little Hollywood glam for this thing. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. It was like, you want to go gangster.
Gangster.
Is that what Hollywood glam looks like, John? Is gangster?
Like a 30s and 40s type.
Open up an egg,
zoot suit. Look like the guy that used to be on the Great Movie Ride. That's what you need to dress as.
Dress as James Cagney.
Yes. Well, not the. I was talking about
you dirty double crossing.
I was talking about the cast member that would actually get in the car, but I mean, sure.
Yeah, I was saying dress as the rubber-necking tourists.
Oh, that's what we were already dressed as.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. It'll be an interesting event. Adam, you should get down there and go.
I wish I could go to that, but that was on the Wednesday, right? So there's no way I could get down for that. That would be what I'd love to see is this.
I would say the probability is low.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, there will be lots of great folks there. I was able to secure quite a fun room. I'll give you a little bit of a preview. I'm going to be staying in a great room for this event. Yes, a great room for this event. I am going to be staying at the Grand Destino Tower, club level, for that week.
Oh, sweet.
It's going to be an exciting time. I'll get to check out the Kronos Club. I'll be able to come back to the podcast and review it for us. It'll be really exciting. Just got to get through one more month. Adam, are you going to do a Christmas trip this year?
I don't know. I don't think we're not planning to do one.
I was going to say you've done a couple of them in the past at least, right? I mean,
yeah, the last 2 years we've done Christmas.
Yeah, but one during the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, last year it was Christmas Day.
Fun days, fun times.
It was fun.
But post Christmas, I don't know if you guys saw this, but After Hours is coming back, and did you see that they announced during After Hours they're not going to show Happily Ever After? They're going to show Enchantment instead.
Really?
Yes, they're bringing back Enchantment during the After Hours events. So if you go there, you can watch a worse fireworks show.
Gross. So you have both as an option. That's weird that they were going. Why would they go back and forth if the whole reason they say they changed it was because of supposedly the backlash, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, now you can get either. You just, depending on which ticket you buy.
Maybe they're conducting an experiment to see how many people will, because it seems to work. Let's just say it seems to work with Soarin' to bring it back every once in a while, right? It seems to draw if you don't have it all the time, but just every once in a while.
Yeah, speaking of, when is that going to go back to Sword Around the World?
I don't know if they've given a date yet.
Yeah, I haven't heard, but I mean, it was cool to see Sword Over California, but it was kind of like, this film's kind of old. You can.
You mean it wasn't even touched up when for them to try and put it?
It wasn't as grainy as I last remembered it, but it's like going over Disneyland at the end, and we're like, okay, I kind of missed the Epcot ending at least.
But there's no obvious bins.
No, actually, there was. I forgot what it was, but I was like, oh, this looks bad, because we were in the left section. It was something. Golden Gate Bridge at the beginning looked really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't remember that, but maybe I'd always sat in the middle before, but
maybe we're just so used to people talking about a crooked tower.
Nice.
There was something else that was really crooked too, but Golden Gate Bridge for sure. I was like, oh wow.
Well, there's lots of things crooked.
Yeah, well.
Well, you still got nice work, pal. We always have to have that.
Nice work, pal.
That's never going to
Oh,
change.
so if we're going to talk about the pre-shows, though, if we mention a pre-show, recently on Netflix, I have been watching Suits. I never watched that show with Meghan Markle and all that. And every time the lead, like, managing partner attorney in that show is I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's the woman that is the Mission Space Green pre-show person.
Oh.
And every time I'm like, am I getting on Mission Space right now? Every time she's on the screen. Gina Torres.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, Gina Torres. So she's in Suits. Okay. I don't remember that. I've never seen it way back in the day. I never did follow it very long back in the day.
Speaking of people, though, that are in shows and Disney, I have to mention that
It's okay.
It's a stretch. Bryan Cranston was at La Cava this past week.
Oh, really? Did he get his own table?
I don't know. He was handing out, like, mezcal shots to the
That's
table.
what I was going to say. So, look, he was a guest waiter.
His server?
Yeah.
Guest server.
Yeah, no, it was his off day on this day, so
Bryan Cranston took his place.
I started to ask but I'm like, yeah, it's his off day, so he probably wasn't there.
See, that's what he did. He called in and said he had to have Bryan Cranston fill in for him that day. That's what it was.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's what Adam wants to come down for the Every Ride week. Is that Friday is Neil Patrick Harris Candlelight Day, and he wants to hang out at La Cava until NPH shows up.
So that's what it is. You just gonna go hang out there until he comes in.
Yeah, just stay there all day. I'm like, there you are. Been waiting for you. That wouldn't be.
They even got your
all.
drink. Not at all. They would not call security.
Yeah.
They will call security if you jump into the World Showcase Lagoon, though. You guys saw that first one, right?
Nice segue.
Great segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the video of that. The guy was at the little bridge at Italy and just jumped over into the water and then swam ashore, but I was promptly trespassed, I'm sure.
Trespass for life.
For the people that are even willing to attempt this sort of stuff, obviously it sounds like there was some alcohol involved and a bet, a wager.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Right.
I think the people that take these things don't even care if they get banned anyway. They probably didn't really. It's probably like the only time they plan on coming there originally or something. They don't even care.
I wonder, speaking of this, it's a random thought, but I wonder if more incidents happen towards like Italy, America, Japan because of people who start at Mexico and work their way around. Or by the time they get to Italy, they're at peak like drunkenness and they do stupid stuff. And of course, Germany, if you hit Germany, you gotta by the time you get to Italy, you're blitzed.
I guess that could be a possibility no matter which side you start from, right?
Right, probably. That's why I wonder, is that why most incidents occur in there, I wonder. I'm curious.
And he
You may
stood
be
there
onto
for a
something.
while, and they told him not to jump, but he did it anyways. But I guess it was a double dog dare, so you can't back down from a double dog.
Exactly. Can't do that. You have to.
Right,
You know,
right.
It's in the rules of life. I don't know. You have to.
Yeah.
From Christmas Story.
Yeah, from A Christmas Story.
All I know is you can't triple stamp a double stamp.
And then you can't. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. You can't. La la la. You can't.
All right, so
There's no segue for that.
there's
Yes.
no segue for that. I don't know what to even say after that. Just end the show.
Speaking of stamps,
Stamps.
the
Okay.
Disney Treasure is going to put a stamp.
Oh, good
Oh, no.
Lord.
Oh,
That's like
wow.
the worst. I was thinking of going to the
Can you
treasure.
try again?
To the big
Wait a minute.
treasure.
Okay.
I was like, well, if you think that was scary.
Speaking of stamps, Shanghai is going to put a stamp on the opening date for Zootopia Land,
Oh, brother.
December 20th.
I saw some of the flyover, I guess is what it was of that. That actually looked really cool. Zootopia did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Seeing
Well,
what's going to come to
I was going
Animal
to say,
Kingdom.
seeing it on, pretty much seeing it on TV. I definitely will be going to Shanghai anytime soon.
See if it's popular enough, they'll build it at Animal Kingdom
If they build it.
instead of what their current plan.
Yeah, this says opening
was.
12/20/23. It's opening on my daughter's birthday.
There you have it. Happy birthday for that. Take her to Shanghai for her birthday.
Right. Yeah. It's like, Maddie, we're going to Shanghai for your birthday.
Exactly.
Seems like a short trip.
Yeah.
Just do it for a weekend. That's
Right.
you'll spend more time flying to and from than you will being there.
Yeah, no, but you were bringing up the treasure. Yeah, there's going to be a bar,
Yeah.
right? Everything's a bar now.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought
Yeah,
there would
we're
be
getting-
that on a cruise ship? Well,
We're supposed to get a Pirates bar at Magic Kingdom, maybe. But we're
Blue
definitely
sky.
getting, yeah, exactly. Blue sky, green grass. Haunted Mansion bar. It looks cool.
happy haunts.
I want to sit in the chair in the corner. Are they Is that the chair that they took out of the one in Magic Kingdom to put Hatbox Ghosts, and they're going to stick it on the treasure?
Yeah.
You know, when I was
Yeah.
there, I didn't mention this when I was at Haunted Mansion a couple weeks ago, where Hatbox Ghost was going to go. It had like a construction wall around it on the ride. So
Interesting.
was that last time you rode it, Jason? Was that there?
Nope, it was not there.
Okay. So they're already installing him. I meant to mention that last week, but
Oh, wow.
it was like a wall, the off area, right at the endless hallway. So I'm like, oh, they're putting Hattie in. But he's supposed to be there after Halloween, so
Yeah, he's not going to make it in time.
yeah.
But I mean, he's
you'll
more
get
of a
to see him
Christmas
in
thing.
December.
He's
Or-
more of a Christmas
is he?
thing. Isn't he?
Right.
So back to the
Yeah, all right.
treasure, right quick. To the big treasure.
Yeah.
I always got to say that about this for some reason. Nobody even knows what that reference is. I guarantee you, who's listening to this podcast. I was just
Yeah.
watching that movie tonight too.
Really?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
It says they're going to invoke inspiration from the original Haunted Mansion, but with a nautical twist to it, I guess, obviously. For good reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the iconic wallpaper. You talked about the armchair, right?
Yeah.
Stuffed in the corner.
Yeah.
It does say on board they'll have exclusive new merchandise, of course. Got to cash in on the opportunity. Let's see, what is it? The Haunted Mansion Parlor Music Box will be a keepsake inspired by an eerie music box that's found inside the parlor. So basically, it's like stuff that's going to be in the actual bar. Again, I'm going to say
Yeah.
I started to call it parlor again, but I was like, that's kind of a interesting thing to say.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this bar, what are we calling it? Is it going to have any windows or any doors? Just curious.
Probably no windows. Definitely has at least one door.
Yeah.
Is
At
this
least.
haunted bar actually stretchy, or are you just drunk?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool if they could do an effect like that and actually have the room actually stretch in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
The bar
Or
itself maybe
after
stretch.
After you've had a drink or two. After you've had a couple of ghoulish delights, you'll start to see the room stretch. That would be funny. They have something called sympathetic libations. I love that.
Ah, of course, yes.
The ghoulish delight features a gummy
Perfect.
eyeball.
This comes with a
Perfect,
gummy.
Raindrop.
Oh, what kind of
Well,
boat is this?
a Delta 8.
That was the ghoulish delight?
Eyeball.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, is that legal on the high seas?
And we will be right back.
Teaching her how to drive. But Dad, why not use Greenlight to help her save for her own car? Mowing lawns and getting paid. She'll go from washing your car to flexing with her own. How? With Greenlight, the money app for families. Together, you can navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing. Because when you teach her to be smart about money, she'll go far. Invest in your best investment. Sign up today at greenlight.com.
And now, back to the show.
So, but I mean, it says it just says signature drink. It says signature beverage. I don't see where it has a name for it yet. This has a ghostly twist on a classic margarita presented to guests amidst a swirl of flavored smoke.
Ooh.
Will be another signature drink at the Haunted Mansion parlor.
So basically,
Right up Adam's
the
alley,
smoke gun from the Lily, they're going to take.
Well, I was about to say, it's right up
Kind of
Adam's alley to have one that smokes.
Not anymore, because Barbas made me shy away from the Lily. He's like,
It says,
don't do that anymore.
it says, topped with a lemon salt foam, this tequila-based cocktail will contain a secret message only to be revealed by blacklight.
Haunted
Interesting.
Mansion parlor. Is that what it's going to say?
Yes. Probably.
Do they give you a black light? Or is the whole restaurant in black light?
I don't know. Good question. Maybe that's the black. Maybe they have one right there that they like is part of the show of the part of the presentation.
Yeah.
So
Looks cool, though. I would definitely hang out there for a while. That'd be fun.
But I mean, this one, I don't think we've talked very much about the other ones, but the other stuff they're going to have on there, that's kind of, it's a pretty exciting lineup. The Skipper Society, which is a lounge by the Jungle Cruise, and the Periscope Pub, that's inspired by 20,000 Leagues. So should be an interesting ship.
Yeah.
Such a pretty boat.
Ship. Yeah, I'm excited about this one more so than what's the one? Why am I blanking?
The latest one? The Wish?
Yeah, the Wish, yeah. I'm more excited about Treasure than Wish.
Yeah. I guess the hype surrounding the Wish actually it kind of died down kind of quickly, almost like the Star Cruiser did. Which there's some rumors surrounding that too now, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, tell me more, because I read and I'm like, does this really feel like they're reviving it? I don't know.
Again, it's kind of just like the people who have gone on the last voyages, right? They're getting surveys that, once again, seem like fillers to figure out what they did wrong and what they did well, right? So it's almost like they haven't completely abandoned the idea if they're asking for that type of feedback, right? You would think they wouldn't even ask if they're not going to bother with it. So,
But they're relocating all the cast members.
well, there's probably not going to be anything done with it anytime soon. However, they did have, what was it? There was one of their usual contractors, I guess it would be, that's been called in for the equipment or something like that. They have like work permits, which could just simply be removing it, I thought, but because they would definitely want to keep some of the technology, whatever they decide to do with it.
Well, they are going to bring it back. That thing's dead. It's going to sit like...
Well, it definitely would not be brought back like what it was. If anything, they might consider overhauling it to make it just kind of like we thought it would eventually be anyway, an actual hotel, right? So that's a possibility. But I think the whole cruiser experience, like the cruise on land experience, that's definitely dead. I don't think that would be something that they would reopen it with. If they reopen it at all, it's probably going to be just a Star Wars themed hotel, basically, with some pretty neat interaction, right? That's probably what it's going to be if they do it. That's an if. I think there's a couple of things. It's pretty obviously, I think people felt somewhat pressured in some cases, even though some people thoroughly enjoyed it. But I think some people felt pressured to create a character or to really get into the, that part of it, right? And then also the price point, obviously. So whatever they can do to scale it down enough to where it's more affordable and still be a good experience would probably be a good idea for the future if they decide to do it. But,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
If we're working on our transitions, you mentioned they're going to use one of their usual contractors. Well, I'll tell you, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District is using one of their usual contractors because they just canceled a meeting after awarding a no competition to essentially bid for multi-million dollars to someone who was also a good friend of someone on the board. So, just a real old independent board
No
going
conflict of
on over there.
interest.
Insider trading.
I saw that report. I'm like, what can they do about that?
Nothing.
Without accepting other bids.
Right.
Hmm.
So giving out favors to friends or whatever.
Nothing to see here.
Right.
Let's move along. I was thinking about it. We should do an episode someday where we talk about all of the most mundane versions of the news that people put out. Have you noticed that there's a lot of these really dumb articles that come out where it's like,
Yeah, because they got to put something out.
yeah.
Content.
There was one this week,
Clicks.
and not because we get a lot of news from some of these websites, but one of our favorite news sites put out an article this week that was talking about how Cosmic Rays got rid of the individual condiment packets and replaced it with the condiment pumps. And I'm like, this made the bar. This was on the list of things that we can report and write a whole story about. Like, that's going to change my whole trip, honestly. That news is going to change my whole next
Now you're
trip.
going.
I'm going to go because I like
Well,
the pumps. I can get I don't have to open a lot of packets. I can just pump as much ketchup as I want, right
True.
into a little cup.
You can just bring your own little bottle and pump it into there.
Right. But honestly, when you have kids, don't you always get more ketchup packets than you ever would use? Because
you get a whole handful, and then you're like, I want more ketchup than I have, but I don't want to keep opening packets.
Right, that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's like kept on to open 1,000 packets.
Right. And then when you're the dad who goes and gets the tray for the kids, you're like, I just load everything on there because I don't want to keep going back and forth. I want honey mustard. I want barbecue. I want ketchup. I just bring it all.
So now Cosmic Rays has just moved up. Now, so I take it back. This was useful information. The
I can get 10 minutes out of this.
The Cosmic Rays. So I was thinking, like, we should do a whole episode that's like these really, just find the most dumb articles that have been coming out over the last whatever, and let's just talk
do just
about
that. I feel like we've done that sometimes by accident.
Yeah, we kind of do. Jason, you were telling me something you saw about the Central Tourism Oversight District, weren't you? That
well, it's not even that. It's the rules. So I watched some of this update Mickey Views put out. It was like an hour and a half news update. I didn't get through all of it, but one of the things he pointed out is that there is a rule that is a Reedy Creek rule. I guess it's rolled over to Central Florida Tourism rule. Is that if Disney refurbishes an old ride and spends more than 10% of the value of the ride in the refurbishment, they have to meet the new standards for the fire codes and all of that. So they have to build they've created these really, really stringent rules that require tons and tons of investment, which is one of the reasons he hypothesizes that we never will and haven't gotten any major updates to anything, just these cosmetic things and stuff like that, because they can't go over that 10% budget or else they'd have to spend millions of dollars to retrofit the attraction to meet the new standards for a lot of these old rides.
So like Carousel of Progress, for example, it's probably super old infrastructure in that building.
Well, that's similar to like a lot of, we'll say, city ordinances for things like, for instance, the restaurant we used to have, it just so happens it's in a flood zone. And when it actually a flood did occur, which had not happened in a really long time in that area, had it had sustained over 50% damage, it would have had to have been totally torn down and rebuilt at the newly established floodplain. But because it didn't, it could stay where it was, basically. So it's along those lines. But Disney, 10% is a pretty low bar.
Yeah. Which is kind of a Disney standard, right? To be.
Which is also why we have a crappy version of Imagination instead of the
Right,
use of
because
all
they'd
the
have
building.
to rebuild basically.
Right.
Like if they're going to have to retrofit that building, it's probably works out better for them to just demolish the whole thing and start over.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd hate to see that. I would just like for them to be able to use the other parts of the building again.
Is Spaceship Earth that old? Is that why they canceled that one? Perhaps.
Well, no. In their case, they just do cosmetic stuff in there mostly. I mean, they're keeping the main structure of the ride.
I'm assuming
right?
that the structure costs so much money, you can maybe spend more on that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
gotta be
structure?
insanely. It's gotta be insanely expensive.
Right.
Well, the other thing with with Imagination is they took out portions of the track, right, and like it's not as long as it once was. So I mean, they kind of ruined they couldn't possibly go back to any version of what it was for that reason alone. I don't think. I still don't get why that took away the upstairs capability. That part does not make any sense to me. Like they utilize it for things like lounges. What made them have to take the ImageWorks downstairs and make it lesser? Not as much stuff as they once did upstairs. I mean, I don't know.
What about something like Splash Mountain? Since they are redoing it, are they spending the big bucks on that
probably
one?
Must be. Because, it's also not an indoor ride either. Because I remember he was talking about, like, with Rise of the Resistance and all the new ones, there's these fire suppression systems that require, essentially, it's very advanced stuff. Like, it's not only just like a sprinkler system, but there's like a rapid air evacuation system that just pulls all the smoke right out of the building super fast.
Right.
And those things are apparently not cheap. And so for like indoor rides, like Carousel of Progress, they'd have to retrofit it with all that stuff. And that probably costs more than the ride itself.
Yes. Right. Especially that ride. I mean, and
is that a requirement, what you just said, that thing?
Yes.
If they go over 10%.
New code requirement. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, if it's really such a great thing to have, it's a new code requirement. Why is it only required if you make a change?
Well, everything gets grandfathered in. They don't force you to go back and retrofit what you've already built.
Yeah.
But again, if it's so much safer, then you would think that wouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, right? I mean, if it's really that much better and that much safer for whatever, why would you bother allowing something that's to be grandfathered in if it's really that much, safer or better?
Yeah, but I mean, this is the same reason we still have houses with asbestos and lead paint around, right? Grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody feels unsafe in these older attractions. I'm just saying.
Although I would say if anything is a fire hazard, it's probably Carousel of Progress.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't you think? 70-year-old attraction?
I think he was talking about this because Mickey Views, I think it was him that was saying that at one time they were floating the idea of a fifth scene in Carousel of Progress in the opening, and it was gonna be too much money or something like that to build the whole new scene that would have triggered the overage.
Because technically you do have that where you come into the building, there's room there. You could have a opening scene where you just open the curtain.
Yep.
But you don't. How does that carousel still work after so long?
There's probably one guy who's probably like 75, refuses to retire. Because remember whenever we were there waiting for the People Mover to open and it was like broken before they opened it, and there were these guys that came out grizzled, old guys, gray. And it's like, these are the two guys
super long gray hair.
They knew how to keep the People Mover running. They're the only two that know how to speak its language.
Yeah. These super old magnetic motor things, whatever it runs on. Yeah. They're the only ones that know how it works, yeah.
Call in the experts.
And they had probably laid that guy off and hired him back. That's why the people mover was down for so long after COVID. They probably had to lure him back from retirement.
It's like the whole of having to bring Steve Jobs back. Is that what it is? It's kind of like those.
Well, okay. Yeah, on a very different scale, sure. Sure. Something like that. Yeah. He's just the only guy that remembers how to fix the people mover.
Yep. That's his.
And just like Walt, he didn't have a good succession plan. Don't you think that was Walt's probably biggest mistake? And I think a lot of leaders have that mistake where they don't have a succession plan.
Well, even when you don't have a succession plan, sometimes it's the wrong one. Look at Iger and Jetpack. I mean, we went through that.
Yeah, well, I mean, was that really like planned though? It seemed like very. Yeah, but I mean, as we learned the backstory, he didn't really want to pick him. He was kind of the only one around that.
Well, that's your perspective.
And then, but we talked about this, though. It was like he picked him and then kind of wanted to train him on the job, and then Chapek didn't want that, and so they butted heads, and anyway, and now we're here. We did a whole episode on it.
Yes, I know. I was gonna say, then there's like there's the Vince McMahon succession where you just don't succeed, you just like never plan on dying, apparently. So
well, I mean, apparently that's what Walt thought. I mean, I know he died suddenly, but surely in those last few months he kind of was like, maybe I should do a little more than just tell Roy I want Epcot drawn on the ceiling, or on a napkin or something.
Right. Well, I mean, Walt's he was the dreamer. Period.
But it was a dark period after he died. It was like all the things, they just finished the things that he had said. I think I was watching actually about Haunted Mansion with Tony Baxter talking about it, but he said that there were two main ideas for Haunted Mansion right when Walt died, that he would have made a decision like, this is the direction we're going, but instead they kind of just combined both ideas.
Yes, I remember.
Because there's no Walt.
I didn't think Walt had the original concept for Haunted Mansion really in place yet, right? I think
there's a video.
It's more like just a floating an idea for doing it.
Well, some of the ideas that made it into the ride were in that video where he was talking to the ambassador, like the stretching room was all done. There was some other ideas that didn't make it in.
That had to be like one of the last times he did that, right? I mean,
that was 65, I think, wasn't it, when that video came out?
Wasn't Mansion 69?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it was just interesting. Once he died, it was like, well, we don't have anybody, so let's just try to figure it out.
And so Pirates was 67?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was mostly done by the time he died, but Pirates really had Walt's approval. The way it ended, the way it was the way Walt wanted it. Whereas Haunted Mansion was kind of a combo of all of them. Yeah, what is this about the dining that you just shared? Because I saw this.
So, it came out today, the day that we're recording this. Apparently, there is a rumor that an updated version of My Disney Experience is going to come out where, we have the dining reservation search on touring plans. They're going to put something like that in NDE, where you can find the reservations. You can say, I would like this reservation, and it will notify you when it is available for you.
Interesting.
And it's going to add a date range search. So instead of having to search through each individual date, you can say, I would like to eat at this restaurant on any of these days. Please tell me if it's available.
Yeah. Not bad.
So the availability search is interesting. Are they going to put Lynn Test out of business?
Well, I was just looking down this article, and when you get down to the comments, I don't know if it's really him, but one of the comments actually has the name Lynn Testa in it.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
It does sound a little bit like Lynn Testa.
Yeah, does it not? I think it's really him.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Basically, not for new people to get into the... And I get this. Disney is trying to keep people from making money off of third-party sites, apps. Like, there was another story recently about them cracking down on these unofficial tour guides, right? There was, people who show up and tour people in the parks with so way cheaper than a VIP tour guide. But obviously Disney doesn't want people making money off of that when they have their own VIP tour that might be taking business away from them. So, and of course there's third-party apps that do Genie Plus now, which is a paid one. I'm surprised they haven't gone after them yet. Perhaps they will.
See, the thing that really sounds like him is the comment about the IT person trying to get home to their kid's basketball
Well, if you
game.
click on it, you can see that he's a premium member. It's actually him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That comment,
Sure
that line though sounded like a classic Testa line.
They're going to make us use their app whether we like it or not, one way or another.
That's kind of the thing. And they're slowly incorporating things that made my Disney experience better. But for me, it's so slow at
Everything.
Yeah. You see something, you click on it, it's gone. By the time it adds more magic, it just disappears.
Well,
so I guess it is magic when it disappears.
Okay, so touring plans obviously doesn't have anywhere near the number of people using their stuff as the official Disney app does, correct?
Probably.
And even
yeah,
that
sure.
system has not worked that well. I mean, we've used it a couple of times, right?
You
try
mean
and
like
get
their
something.
reservation finder?
Yes.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
dining.
I think the reason is, it doesn't book it for you, so
Right.
and it only searches every like 10 minutes or something, so there's more than enough time for other people to book the
But my
same thing. But yeah.
But I get
Yeah.
his point in, like, everybody that's going to Disney is basically going to use the official app to
Yeah.
some degree.
Right.
And the number of requests for such thing is going to be way too many for it to handle. I guarantee you. There'll be people that'll be using that. I mean, I foresee if they launch this, I foresee a crash like almost immediately.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be one of those things that's going to, I mean, people are going to say, oh, like, these 2 new features are going to be great. They're probably not going to be even usable for at least a year, even after they launch it.
Right. Honestly, I would still use touring plans as reservation finder because it's probably still going to be faster than my Disney experience. Because it'll
Probably.
give you probably a push alert that says, hey, we found a dining. You click on it and you have to go through the whole process of booking it again, which is probably going to be slower than the text you get from touring plans with a link that you just go straight to the website. It'll probably book faster than the app will. So,
Possibly.
yeah.
I'm to the point, though, where there's nothing that I want to go to so badly that I need to use that anymore.
Yeah, it's nice to have, and I saw this with some our friends who had a lot of really good dining, Space 220, California Grill, both which they kind of wanted to move. Within 48 hours, stuff opens up because people cancel before that 24-hour.
Right. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You don't really need the search.
Yeah, but it's like either you're on your phone looking all the time, or you have something look for you, and it gives you a push alert when something is found, and it's gonna. I mean, within 20, well, really within 36 hours, tons of, and by tons I mean 4 or 5 different Space 220s opened up for a better time than what they had booked. So it's not hard to find something good within a day or two. You just have to be patient.
Just for curiosity, I just scrolled through to see I just checked for tomorrow, right? And like all day tomorrow.
Mhm.
And I'm looking to see if I can find a Space 220. I haven't gotten down to it just yet. I see a lot of ones that I wouldn't expect. See, look, I actually see 3 times for Space 220 for tomorrow.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
A 405, a 420, and an 805.
For how many?
Whereas before, this is for 4 people that I searched.
Doesn't
Just
surprise
because
me.
that's usually what I have, so that's the reason why I use that number. But yeah, for 4 people.
Yep.
Even another one that's usually hard to find, T-Rex, right? Usually pretty hard to find. I found 4 different times for T-Rex. Now, 2 of them are pretty late, but there's 4 different times for T-Rex tomorrow. And that's one that usually, I'm not saying anything about how good it is by any means, but it is usually a popular one. Topolino's shows several different times throughout the day. And this is next day I'm talking about. I don't even know if they're going to need this with the new system, the way they have this currently, right? There's just going to be more availability anyway. I don't even think it's going to be necessary.
Yeah.
Because like I said, a lot of the places that you normally would look for or try to find that doesn't have times, you find times if you're just looking all day.
And it's probably more convenient, which is what Disney hopes to do. They don't want people sitting on their phones all day. They want people out in stores buying stuff, not worrying about trying to book a restaurant. They just want, because I think that's true. So many people do cancel within 24 hours and stuff opens up. So they want to fill those spots as quickly as they can. And they don't want people walking around on their phones. They want people spending money.
Interestingly enough, I don't see Le Cellier.
Well, it's a tiny restaurant. So, you know, there's certain ones that are like, you don't expect to see all the time.
I just find it weird that I can find Space 220 and not Le Cellier for tomorrow at all.
That
makes no sense.
How much bigger is Space 220 than Le Cellier, though? It's got to be pretty.
Well, I know, but I was just talking about,
size.
based on recent popularity, is it already dying off a little?
I think it's because they force you to pay up front now. That kind of.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Because you got to pay in full at the time of booking now.
Yeah, that usually affects
Space 220.
Yeah. Really?
They changed that just like Cinderella's Royal Table. Although I don't see one of those, so for tomorrow.
Again,
either.
another tiny one. So, tiny restaurant. Not surprising that you don't see it. But if we sat here for 2 hours, you probably would see one pop up.
Right, at least something would.
Yeah.
Especially with it searching all day like it does.
Right. You know, Disney's slowly working on it. If they would just add to the lightning lane thing where if a modify shows up, that you have enough time to complete the booking.
One thing I'll say that I like about this, even if you're not finding the place you were hoping for, you're going to find a lot of good times and a lot of good options, a lot of good different places with the way they got it set up now compared to the different way. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all you're going to say. Except that it's slow.
If that's the thing that...
It wasn't that slow that I saw. I mean...
always a loading.
Working for me.
When you're trying to book something quickly that is popular or lightning lane that will go quickly, it's agonizingly slow when you're trying to get something. And I think that's the thing. When it's been crashing at 7 a.m. every morning for several minutes, probably because whatever changes they've been making is slowing it down when so many people are on at the same time. So they've got to fix that. They've got to do something to make that better. But
every morning there's a crash happening too.
Especially when you're charging so much for that privilege, and it doesn't work as well as...
And it doesn't work like lightning?
Plus, yeah. The most frustrating thing is adding a few more magical touches. And it's gone. It's magic. It disappeared. Gotta make this lightning lane disappear.
Too much magic.
Those who know. Painfully annoying. Last thing I wanted to bring up was the Frozen Holiday Surprise is going to debut Magic Kingdom on November 7th. Which sounds a lot like the old Frozen Castle lighting thing, but instead this is a projection show because Disney doesn't want to spend the money on the icicle lights or whatever they call it. What do they call them? Dreamsicle lights?
Dreamsicle. Yeah.
So now we're getting a Frozen projection show. Can't they just do that during the holidays? Are they just going to like have the projection of icicles on the castle every night? Is that cheaper? Well, they don't have to have a crane out there for a week when they hang in the lights. So I guess that's right.
Yeah, but I don't think it would look as good with the projection doing that. Just me. But
We'll find out November 7th.
Something I mentioned before we recorded, though, the Adventureland Treehouse in Disneyland. Since we're talking a little Disneyland. It's going to open November the 10th with an all-new theme. The re-theme is to be inspired by West Family Robinson, it says. The treehouse was, of course, Tarzan for quite a while. Basically, when it says it's been inspired by, it makes me think what they've done is, how a lot of the stuff that they do with the cues and stuff nowadays have kind of become a little more interactive and stuff like that. I feel like they've probably created more interactive elements to the treehouse. It doesn't specify per se, but it also does it's still done in the spirit. This one's been redone in the spirit of the original Swiss Family, but not an exact, like it was before, or like it is in Florida. It should be fun once it gets open, which is just around the corner.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what inspired by means, how it's going to look compared to the one.
Yeah, this is one of those things. This is like Disneyland's answer to the Journey of Water, I guess, right? It's like that we redid the treehouse to be more modern.
Speaking of Journey of Water, I've been hearing so many people talk about how there's no need for virtual queue whatsoever for that. You just walk in.
Oh, it still has virtual queue?
I think it did, but I don't know that it even does anymore.
Well, I thought it was just doing that for previews, right? When did
it's
did
open
it officially?
Now? It's been open for a week.
Okay. Well,
over a week now.
I mean, it is. It's not like it's it's not an e-ticket, so I mean, yeah,
right. Of course not.
I think they just did that because they don't know what to expect when something first gets released and how crazy people get. So they would rather be prepared than have the other than have it happen the other way.
Right. Yeah.
Than have a 3-hour wait. Not that I think it would ever get quite that high. So.
Yeah, I don't even see it listed as a virtual queue anymore in the app, so I don't think you need
probably
it.
Not. But I mean. You thought it was neat, right?
I liked it. Yeah. I thought it was really cool. It's just, there's not a lot. I mean, there is some repeatability, but it's not
something you would regularly visit.
Maybe. I mean, I would go in, actually, yes, because there's a couple of hidden details I haven't seen yet that I've heard about that I wanted to. There's a hidden Mickey that I know what to look for, but I couldn't find it the first time. So
I really enjoyed the soundtrack they decided to use. From when I watched the videos.
It sounds so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing. It's not bad. It's nice.
It fits. It like you said. I think on your report, it feels like old Epcot, and it's in the spirit of old Epcot.
Yeah, that part is nice. Yeah, but
as far as the
edutainment,
interactive part, edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need more edutainment,
right?
Especially after watching Futureport.
All right, go watch that live stream if you haven't watched it.
Yeah. Or download it if you have apparently a powerful enough PC.
Yeah.
Downloaded it. We need to wrap up.
Yeah. What do we got?
We are represented on Facebook on the artist formerly known as Twitter as X. We are also on Instagram. All of that is at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store in which you can get your exclusive TWTM merchandise. I think that recent code will be done by the time this releases.
I was just looking it up. There's one November 1st through the 5th, 20% off everything. So,
there you go.
Starting now.
So that's shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM podcast. We got lots of different options out there, including a new design, Adam, that you just put out.
Yeah.
More Halloween inspired, I guess.
Yes.
Or Dia de los Muertos inspired.
Right.
So
you never know what you'll see. So keep looking.
Yes, you'll never know. You said it's right, because I had no idea we had some of the designs that we had out there, so I went and got one, or went and shopped for some myself, actually. So we also have a YouTube channel, which you can find through links where, Adam?
Our website, travelingwiththemouse.com. We also have an email address, podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. Links to all that and more, including a travel agent friend you can help with your Disney travels. All that is on our website.
So for John, Adam, this is Jason. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you'll join us on your next trip.
Trip out
to Jollywood.